Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from anywhere you are joining us. Welcome to today's masterclass where we'll be discussing a very, very important topic. So I'm going to bring up my screen and we are going to start immediately. I hope we all can hear me loud and clear. All right, I'll bring up my screen so that we can also hear me and what we have for today. Okay, my screen should be up in the next seconds. All right, we'll be talking about building your first data visualization reports using AI and, of course, Power BI. We are going to steal our brain for free today. With respect to you learning how you can be able to do this and implement it practically. You know, most of the times when we talk about, going to build visuals, you're going to do this, AI that, we always wonder whether it is here to take our jobs or whether it is here to help our jobs. So tonight, we're going to be hearing from a very fantastic person to walk us through what we need to know regarding this exact conversation around building your first data visualization report using AI and, of course, Power BI. You're going to steal her brain and, of course, my brain tonight for free. But before we jump right into what we have for tonight, I would love to know you and know where you are joining us from, okay? So I want to know you and know where you're joining us from. Just type in your name and then the location of where you are joining us from so that we can get to know each other and get this session started immediately. Okay, so let's do that in the next couple of seconds. Okay, I can't see any chats in the comment section yet. Hi, Priscilla. Hi, Amaka. Please confirm that you can hear me loud and clear. Can anyone hear me? Or am I speaking to myself tonight? I can hear you. Okay, I can see a couple of I can hear you. Amazing. It's good to know that you can hear me, D. All right. At this moment, I'm waiting for us to, introduce each other. All right. Just type in your name and the location of where you are joining us from. Can see Okpeyemi joining from Nigeria. Okay. Is welcome to the call, Okpeyemi. All right. Can see Priscilla from Togo. Amazing. Can see Caroline from London, United Kingdom. It's good to have you on the call. Ada from Nigeria. Amazing. It's good to have you here. Okay, we're still waiting for a couple of people on the call to also introduce themselves, and then we'll dive into the discussion that we'll have for tonight. Okay. We're still waiting for a couple of others. I can see Deborah from Nigeria. Amazing. So you can see that we clearly have people across different countries. I've seen UK, I've seen Nigeria, I've seen Togo. I think I've seen which other country? Okay, that's the three countries that I've seen right now. Okay, we're still waiting for a couple of other people to also introduce themselves. Okay, and while we're waiting for that, I also love to know if today is the first time that you are joining any of our sessions. All right. If today is the first time that you are joining any of our sessions, please just type in a one in the chat box so that we know the people that I have on the call for tonight. But if you've been in any of our sessions before now, you are able to type in any number that you deem fit. Okay. So this is good to guide me with respect to how I'm going to take this discussion tonight. Okay. Can see first time from just Samsung. Samsung said that today is his or her first time. Caroline also mentioned that today is her first time. Amazing. It's good to have you guys on the call. Okay, tonight we promise to have a very interactive class to show you how you can be able to build your first data visualization reports using AI and, of course, Power BI. Okay, we are going to walk you through how you can be able to do this on your own so that you see that easily you can be able to break into any of these tech career paths that requires you to do a visualization, all right? Things like data analytics, things like business analysis, HR analytics, financial analytics can comfortably be able to get into any of these sectors because that is the core places that your visualization skill is going to be very, very, very needful. Okay, and if you know someone that will benefit from this exact session that we are having, please feel free to share the link to this class to them. All right, your family members, your friends or family, anyone, please feel free to share the link with them so that they can join and be able to benefit from the conversation that we are going to be having right now. So I'm going to jump right into the discussion that we have for today. But before I do that, I'd love to also introduce to you the company that is organizing this amazing meeting. Okay, so we are Tenalytics, the leading educational technology company that is helping people of the Black community to develop skills that will help them land jobs. Okay, so that is simply the summary. And for the last close to 5 years, we've helped close to 2,500 people without any technical background move from our classrooms into landing their first roles in UK, US, Canada, Europe, Africa, and of course, Asia. And we have a couple of courses that we offer that we use to help individuals to land all these jobs. And it starts with data analytics, business analysis, data engineering, data science, financial analytics, HR analytics, agile project management, scrum master, and of course, cyber security, and then soon to come, AI engineering. And how do we do this? We bring in expert instructors from amazing companies, all right, like Google, Deloitte, a lot of companies to come to the classroom and walk our students using project-based model, teaching them the practical things that are going to experience on the job so that they will have an interaction of how it will be. So it's not like a theoretical class where you enter the class, you learn by what is data analytics, what is Power BI. No, you are working on real life project-based model. And this is how you can also be able to bridge the experience gap so they can comfortably speak from a place of experience that while you were consulting with analytics, you worked on so and so projects. Okay. So this is how we help individuals without technical skills to break into the tech ecosystem. And just also talk to you currently, we are with the Alberta Catalyzer program. And this is a program that is designed to help companies to scale and grow, which means we ourselves, we're also constantly looking for ways that we're going to improve ourselves so that we can give back better to the people. All right. So you can click on the link here for you to be able to read more about what the Alberta Catalyzer program is all about. Okay. And for you to have access to this slide, my colleagues are going to drop the attendance form in the comment section. Okay. So feel free to fill your details so that we can share the slide that we're using for this class and also the recording of this class with you once we are done with everything that we have for tonight, okay? And who am I that is speaking to you? My name is Chukwemeka Ikpa, and I'm a technology consultant with nearly a decade experience in governance, risk and compliance, and of course, strategic consulting. And presently, I am the CEO of Tenalytics, who have helped more than 8,000 individuals without any technical background to successfully land their first jobs in the tech ecosystem. And my experience spans across GRC in the banking sector, head of control in a fintech institute, and of course, data analyst with a fintech organization, and also a business consultant in the hospitality space. Okay, my experience spans across financial services, capital markets, hospitality, and right now the educational technology sector. Can follow me across my social so that I can keep the conversation ongoing on LinkedIn at Chukwemeka Ikpa, Twitter at Emeka_Heist, and of course, Instagram as Ikpa_Chooks. And I have with me an amazing data analyst. I don't know what I'll call her. She's a senior data analyst, and we're going to be hearing from her tonight in the person of Amaka Daniels. And she holds also close to a decade experience in data analytics and of course, data science. And she's a data professional with a lot of knowledge with respect to the data tools, Excel, Power BI, Tableau, SPSS, Minitab, and of course, programming languages like Python, SQL, and R. And she's the one that is going to be speaking to us today with respect to how we can be able to utilize AI and Power BI to build our first data visualization, okay? And she is a senior data associate here at Tenalytics and have helped more than 200 people transition into the tech ecosystem. And she brings her own experience from a different industry, the business enterprise, fintech, and of course, the educational technology company, okay? So tonight, Amaka, I don't know if you want to say hello to the house before I bring you up finally to speak.
Hi, Chukwemeka. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. All right, it's good to have you on.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so we're going to be hearing from Amaka in no distant time, so we can tap and steal her knowledge. Remember what the topic said, that tonight you are going to learn how to build your first visualization report using AI and Power BI. So you're going to steal her brain for free. Okay, this class is fully for free. They're going to steal everything that she knows for free. And what are we going to be handling tonight? So first thing, we're going to walk you through how to leverage AI in your role and some common AIs also that you can utilize out there. Okay, we're going to walk you through how you can leverage AI in your role and how you can also use some common AIs. And of course, how you can also be able to build your first dashboard using Power BI. How can you build your first dashboard using Power BI? As someone that is trying to break into the data analytics space, want to get into HR analytics, people analytics, talent management, want to be a financial analyst, pricing expert, investment banker, how do you leverage Power BI with respect to bringing out your key performance indicators? So these are part of the things that we're going to be handling tonight. So make sure that you listen closely to Amaka to steal her brain for free. And then I'll also walk you the pathway for you to become a data analyst, and of course, a HR analyst, a financial analyst, and also a business analyst, because these are the critical roles that you will have the knowledge of Power BI. It's going to be very, very needful for you to have knowledge of Power BI. If you are looking to break into data analytics, HR analytics, financial analysis, and of course, business analysis. Then finally, I also walk you through our special discounted offer for you by virtue of you being on this call tonight, okay? And also talk to you about our next cohort that is starting by December 7th. So today I was counting the number of days before we get to New Year, and I think it's perfectly 40 days. So if you're looking to be 40 days ahead of all the people that is going to make their New Year resolution, the time to make that decision is tonight. So I was talking to my friend in the gym today, and she mentioned that we should try and build all the muscles we want to build right now, because by January, the gym is going to be filled with all the people that are doing New Year resolution, the resolutioners, like we normally call them. So if you want to be ahead, if you want to be 40 days ahead of people that are going to make all those resolutions by next year, the time to start is right now. And we're going to be starting with how you can be able to build your first visualization using AI and, of course, Power BI. So I'm calling on Amaka to hand over to her to walk us through what we need to know and for us to steal her brain for free. Hi, Amaka, you have the floor.
Right. Thank you very much, Chukwemeka. Thank you for that introduction. So hello, everybody. So just like Chukwemeka said, my name is Amaka Daniels. And yes, you'll be stealing my brain for free today, right? So I'm going to be giving you a snippet of what we, what our classes look like here at, 10 Analytics. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen now. 1 second, guys. Okay, so our topic today is, how to leverage AI as an analyst, right? How do you leverage AI? How do you work with AI as an analyst? Okay, so first off, right, today I want our class to be very interactive. Now, I know that you cannot unmute your mic. I know some people will say, oh, Amaka, I can't unmute my mic, but you can go ahead and talk to me in the chat box. I can see, anything that you drop right here. Okay, so first, before we continue, like I said, I want it to be interactive. We all keep hearing what's, AI, what is really AI, right? What do you think AI is? Anybody? Can anybody talk to me? What do you think AI is? What do you think AI is? Before I actually tell you the definition of AI, what do you think AI is, guys? Anybody? So I know I have Eniola, Victoria, Stephen, I have Samsung, okay, I have P, Opeyemi. Guys, what do you think AI is? Okay, so I see Muhyiddin saying artificial intelligence. Right, exactly. Thank you very much, Muhyiddin. Any other person? What do you think AI is? Right. So everybody is just giving me, the full definition of, the full meaning of AI, but what is actually the definition? What comes to your mind when you hear AI? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear AI? Right? Anybody? Or I'm just going to stick with Muhyiddin and Ambrose, right? With artificial intelligence. Automation, great. Thank you very much, Priscilla. Thank you. Right. Now, let me give you a very perfect, definition of AI. right? I'll try to break it down to, the most little or the littlest way, right, that you'd be able to understand. Now, AI is basically the simulation of human intelligence in machines, right? So basically teaching machines how to perform like humans, how to think like humans, things like learning, reasoning, problem solving, understanding languages. I'm pretty sure most of the AIs that know how to speak all the languages so far, and then also making decision. That's a proper explanation of what an AI is, right? Now, what would you say an AI is? For instance, look at your Siri. I know most of us that use iPhones, right? You have your Siri. You say, hey, Siri, set timer for me for so minutes, right? That is AI. Even when you go on Google, right, and go and search, for things, you have a machine giving you a response, right? That is AI. Even people that watch Netflix, right? You notice that over time, when you continue to watch certain types of movies, at some point, you're going to have recommendations, right, for movies that are similar to what you've watched. That is also AI. So it has sort of studied, your behavior, and then it's giving you something similar to what might fit your interest. That is AI. Now, my first question today is, what is your opinion of AI? Right? Do you think, I know I've always seen this topic everywhere, people talking about how AI is going to take over our jobs or even take over the world, right? So what is your opinion on AI? What do you think? What's your opinion? Do you think AI is good? Do you think AI is bad? What do you think, guys? So I know I only have very few people that have interacted with me today. Guys, come on, talk to me. Talk to me. I'm here to for you to steal my brain for free, right? Interact with me, guys. Okay, so I see Lane saying using machine to simplify the human effort. Yes, thank you very much, Lane. Okay, so Ethan said AI is good to some extent. Okay, when you say some extent, what do you mean, Ethan? So are you saying it is bad, right? Like it is 50% good and 50% bad? So is it only Ethan I'm going to converse with? So I know I have other people here. Guys, talk to me. Okay, so Coach P said AI is to support human effort. Great. But do you think it is going to take over the world? I mean, I know I've seen some sci-fi movies that always give us the impression that, AI is going to take over the world, and then, we'll not have humans left. Okay, so Coach P said, no, it won't. Exactly. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. Of course not. AI will not take over your jobs, right? I feel like that's even though it is subjective, but my opinion is that those that cannot use AI, right, will be replaced by those who can. What does that mean? Now, if you would be better off knowing how to use AI to, leverage AI at your job than somebody that does not even have an idea what AI is. So you know that these days everybody's leveraging on the wave of, technology. You have to move with the wave. You cannot be in 1987 while people are, heading towards 2025, right? It doesn't make any sense, right? So you cannot be having that kind of mindset because AI is here to stay, right? Unfortunately, for some people, AI is here to stay. And the only thing you can do is to leverage AI to actually help you in your jobs. Now, a job that would probably take 2 hours before now would take about 15 minutes just using AI, leveraging AI. Okay. So today, what am I going to do? I'm going to teach you, or I would say, life in the I would say maybe a life of a data analyst, right? Sort of a life in a data analyst. I'll be showing you what it will be like to work as a data analyst in an organization. So today I'm going to give you a scenario, right? So you're a data analyst that was recently employed in a gadget company. So this company sells iPhones, they sell phone accessories and all of that, right? And then they've given you a task today to get insights from a company's data. Now, the columns that have been given to us are the order ID, the product, quantity ordered, price for each of the products, the order date, the purchase address, that is the customer's address, the month it was purchased, the amount, the revenue that was gotten from the sales, the city, and then payment method. So today, our job is to be able to identify sales trends, then also find out customer behavior and product performance. So generally, our job as data analysts is to be able to take numbers and then tell stories with those numbers. Now, many organizations do not even know the importance of data in their life, right? So some people feel like we're making money, in organizations, they're making money, but maybe they're not really making money because they're not even looking at their data. They don't know what is really happening. Are they even keeping data? Do they know the importance of data? Right? So we're going to use this data that has been generated by this gadget company to, help them make informed decisions. We'll find out maybe the month or the month that gave them the highest sales, the customers, and all of that, the product that performed the most. That's basically what we're going to be doing today. That's an overview of what we're going to be doing today. Now, if you want to, of course, like I said, you're stealing my brain for free, right? If you want to work with the data set, right, I have the material here and I've embedded a link that you can work with. So if you go to the chat box, you would see that a form has been posted for the attendance. So I want you to fill that form with your details, your email address and everything, and you will get this material for today. So even if you can follow up with me today, you can always have the recording of this particular class, right? So that you can watch in future. Okay, so just like I said earlier, you can use AI to get things done easier and faster. So AI just basically makes your life easier, right? Like I said, somebody that will most likely take a job that should take 2 to 3 hours will most likely take you 10 to 15 minutes. Why? Because you're working smarter. You're not doing, hard work, right? Okay, so today, if I were to ask you a question, now this is the data that was given to us, right? You can see we have order ID, the unique identifier for each of the orders that came in. It's just like when you order something from, Domino's or, Cold Stone or something, they always have an order ID, right? For each, just to identify the orders, then the actual product name, the quantity ordered, price, order dates, purchase address, month, sales, city, and payment. Now, my question before we continue is looking at this data. If I were to ask you, right, which of the products made the most sales, can you tell me? Guys, can you tell me, looking at this data, do you think you can actually identify which of the products made the most sales for them? Anybody? So look at the data. What do you think? Do you think just merely looking at what you have on the screen now, can you identify the product that had the most sales for this organization, this gadget company? Anybody, guys? Okay, so Victoria said AA batteries. Okay, so Victoria, how did you know it's AA batteries? How did you know it is AA batteries? And then I can see Clementina saying catch purchase. Okay. How did you know, Victoria? Okay, so Casey said laptop. Okay. And Dee said no, we cannot. Okay, so why can we not? Why can't we? Okay, so Ortega said it's hard to say, okay, but I think it's ThinkPad laptop. Okay, so Adora said it is not cleaned. Okay, so some answers I'm getting here. Now, the truth is, honestly, we cannot really tell which of them gave us the most sales. Just merely looking at this data, it is impossible. It is close to impossible just looking at this, right? It is almost impossible, right, to just look at this. So you can see somebody, I have 798919 saying it is unprocessed information, right? Now, this is how data comes in. Okay, so for every order that has been made, that has been brought into this organization, it is highlighted here. You can see from each rows. Each row means an order. Okay. Now, just looking at it, I cannot really tell. I don't know which one had the most sales. But what can I do? Now, there's something we call data visualization. Now, what is data visualization? Most stakeholders, as a data analyst, most people, CEOs, the CFOs, they really don't care about all of this, right? They just want to get to the result. It is not very, interesting or appealing to people to just look at numbers, right? So what can we do? We can leverage something called data visualization. What is data visualization? Data visualization is basically gathering data and then putting it in form of charts and graphs. So graphical representation of your data, right? You can see that if you were a CEO, right? And I have this on the left and then this second one on the right, which would you prefer? Which one would you prefer, guys? The first one, the one on my left, or the one on the right? The first or the second one? Which would you prefer as a CEO? The right one, exactly. Why? It even looks appealing in the eye, right? And it looks readable in the sense that merely looking at it, I can see the trends, right? I can see the trends. I can pick out insights from all of this. That is data visualization. Right now, instead of me just, like somebody said, this is Kumbas, I'm just looking at this and then trying to find out, is it ThinkPad? Is it this? Is it that? I can actually create a chart and, a report, putting charts together that will help me see, the actual thing. Now, as scientists, we do not say seeing is believing, right? We more or less say when you test is believing, right? So if you're sick, you're not going to just, in Nigeria here, some people, when we're sick, we just go to the pharmacy and then get malaria medicine and just go ahead and self-medicate, which is actually not, the right thing to do. You're supposed to go to the hospital, actually see a doctor that will diagnose your, what you're feeling, right? And then send you for tests, so that when you get a result, then they will now give you drugs to take. That is the proper way. That's the same thing here. We don't just say, oh, it is MacBook Pro that is the, the most sold, or is LG washing machine. No, you actually test for it, right? And then this is the result from the test. So today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to transform what we have here on the left to what we have on the right. And then I'm going to teach you how to use AI to transform this and also use Power BI to get to this point, right? I hope you're excited. Who is excited, guys? Who is excited? Who is excited? Who is excited? Great. Thank you. Emmanuel is excited. Clementina is, thank you. Great, guys. Great. I am as excited as you are. And I'm hoping that you pick a thing or two from what we're going to do today, right? Now, types of AIs. Right, types of AIs that we have. Now we have, if you notice, you will see that most of the apps that we have now, right, they're already incorporating AI. If you go to WhatsApp, you see that WhatsApp has Meta AI. Who has noticed, right? You have Copilot from Microsoft Edge. You have Gemini from Google. There are many AIs now scattered everywhere. Most of the applications we use every other day has AI because they understand the importance of moving with, technology, making life easy for us. Okay, we don't have to stress too much. You see people in their smart homes, just come in and they're like, Alexa, turn on the music, right? It makes life easy. Alexa, turn on the air conditioner, turn on the lights, right? So today, I want us to use an AI called, like I said, there are several AIs. I want us to use an AI called ChatGPT. Why did I decide to use ChatGPT? I think it's one of the most popular AIs that we have out there, right? And I'm sure most people have heard about ChatGPT. Who has heard of ChatGPT before? ChatGPT. I've heard of ChatGPT. Just give me an I in the chat box. Yes, it's pretty common, right? It's one of the most common ones out there, right? So you have Claude AI, like I said, Copilot. You can use anyone, you can leverage any of them, right? But today we're going to be using ChatGPT. So if you just go online and search for ChatGPT, you can create an account in split seconds, right? You just need your email and then a password to create ChatGPT account. Okay, now I want us to see an overview of the data that we're working with today. So this is the data we're working with, right? And yeah, I think we've already seen this. We have over about 1,500 entries here, about 1,500 entries here. So we're going to transform this to what we have in here. Okay, now first, let us go to ChatGPT. Right, so this is what ChatGPT looks like. This is what it looks like. Okay, guys, can you see my screen? If you can see my screen, please just give me an I on the chat box. Okay, give me an I if you can see my screen, so I can continue, guys. Okay, thank you very much, Emmanuel, Deji, Clementina, Lean. Thank you very much, guys. I'm glad that you're following. Okay, so this is what the interface for ChatGPT looks like. So like I said, you can go ahead, just go to the internet, chat, look, search for ChatGPT, Claude AI, whichever you would you prefer, right? But this is what the interface for ChatGPT looks like. Now, my first question, right? Now let's assume, like I said, we're putting ourselves in this scenario. We are data analysts. We're just employed by Gadget Hub. We don't even know where to start from, right? What do we begin with? Now, my first statement that would most likely what I would do in my own situation is to even ask ChatGPT, right? How do I? ChatGPT is quite smart, so it would understand. Or let us go as a data analyst, right? How do I effectively, so this is me just asking ChatGPT a question. How do I effectively generate insights from my data? How do I effectively generate insights from my data? Right now, when I send this, you see that ChatGPT is going to understand everything I'm saying. You can see that it's giving me different things. Can you see this, guys? Is this not amazing? Right? Is this not amazing? Now you can go ahead and read this, right? You can see it's telling me the first step is to understand the business context. Now, what is the business context? I know I'm working for a gadget company, right? What do they do? What do they do? So define your objective. What is the objective? Understand the problem, the goals, right? What does the business want to achieve? So if you come back to our slide here, 1 second. If you come back to our slide here, you can see that we already have an objective, right? Hold on, guys. Okay, so I think I'm going further. We already have an objective here. You can see this. Our objective is to identify sales trend, customer behavior, and then product performance. So if we don't do this, the company will probably not, find out all of these things that they need. Clearly understand the problem, the goal, right? And what does the business want to achieve? Example can be increasing sales, improving customer retention, optimizing operations. Now, this is dependent on the organization that you're working with, right? Now, you should also be able to collaborate with team members. As an analyst, you most likely be working with team members, work with stakeholders to frame the questions for the analysis so that you know what to expect. Okay. Now you also see data preparation. Now it's telling you collect and organize your data, clean your data. What do we mean by data cleaning? You might have missing values, you might have duplicates, you might have inconsistencies, right? It's even giving you some details. Example, you can have maybe in your data, you have a gender column, and instead of having male or female, you're having both male and female and then M and F. That doesn't look nice. How do you, most of the tools will not recognize MF as male or female. You have to make sure you arrange all of that. You can do calculations and all of that. You see all the different steps that ChatGPT is giving you. So you can follow this one by one, right? Follow this one by one. It's even telling you generate insights, identify trends and patterns, derive actionable recommendations, communicate insights. I mean, I don't think I can emphasize the importance of AI enough, right? So now it has already given me a step-by-step approach on how to even tackle my situation right now. Now, the next thing I can ask it is, how do I effectively, so I know you see me looking at I have several screens here, right? So how do I effectively build visuals that answer business questions using, 1 second. How do I effectively build visuals that answer business questions using a data with these columns, right? With these columns. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my sheet, my spreadsheet, right? I'm going to go back to my spreadsheet. Then I'm going to copy the headers that I have here. I'm going to copy the headers I have here, right? So I'm just going to do Control Shift right. Control Shift right. So that allows you like copy the entire thing. Now, if I just click the roll number, you see what it does. It's going to copy the entire row, which I don't want. I'm going to do Control-Shift-Right so that it ends here where my data ends. So Control-Shift-Right. And then let me scroll to the right so you see what I mean. Can you see this? Right? Now, instead of it to copy the entire row 1, it is just starting, giving me a start point and then an end point. Then I go ahead and do Control-C to copy. Control-C to copy. So I come back to my AI, right? And I'm just going to paste this. So you can go ahead and do Control-V. Control-V. Okay. So you can see that it has pasted my columns. So I'm just going to arrange this and then put commas in between so it knows the different header names. Okay, so product, order ID, product, quantity ordered, price of each product, order date, purchase address, month sales, city, and then payment method. Right? Now I go ahead and enter this. Enter and then watch AI do the job for me. Okay, so now you see this, right? You see this. If I come down, it says understanding the business questions. Can you see that it has created questions that I can ask or that I can answer using my visuals? You see the first one is telling me sales trend. Which month had the most sales? Right? The next one, top products. What are the top selling products? City analysis. Which city generates the most revenue? Okay, you can see payment insight. What's the most popular payment method? Revenue drivers. How does quantity ordered affect total sales? Now, sometimes you might be given a data and then you're confused, especially as newbies, right? You're given a data, you're confused. You don't even know where to start from. Where do I begin? It feels overwhelming because, I mean, look at this. It doesn't look very friendly, right? But how do you begin? You can leverage AI to help you do this. So these are some of the, of course, you have guided yourself. Now you now have business questions that you can use charts to answer, right? So I want us to answer some of these questions, right, using our charts, right? You can even see that it goes, as far as even recommending visuals for you. Right? So based on the business questions, that's even recommended visuals. It's telling us that we can use a line chart if we want to see the month that had the highest sales. It's telling us to use a bar chart for the top selling products, a map chart for the most revenue, pie chart for most popular payment method. I mean, it has done almost 80% of my job, right? So what do I do now? I just take its advice technically and go and plot these charts, arrange them and make them look very nice, right? It's even telling me what I can even calculate, processing the data. What do I calculate? Some basic things I can add into the charts. It even goes as far as specifying the visuals like the axis, x-axis, y-axis, all of that. Is this not amazing? Don't you think it's amazing, guys? Don't you think it's amazing? If you think it's amazing, please type amazing in the chat box, guys. If you think it's amazing, please type amazing in the chat box, guys. Let me be sure that you're following me. Right. Thank you very much, Ethan and Clementina. Yes, of course, it's very beautiful. I think this is amazing. It has done 80% of my job. Now, the time I would have spent sitting down and then thinking of, oh, what questions do I plot? What do I do? How do I begin my report? What do I tell the stakeholders, right? We've spent less than, let's say 10 minutes, right? You see how amazing it has done the job for us, how amazing it is leveraging AI. So no, AI is not going to take over our jobs. AI is not going to take over the world. It's not going to take over, everything around us. It is simply just going to help us, work smarter. Now, instead of doing hard work, you're working smarter. Okay. So after going through all of this, it's now telling us to build an interactive dashboard. Now, what is a dashboard or a report? A dashboard is simply what I have here. You see this is called a dashboard. Right? So you basically have a place where you arrange all your visuals after creating visuals. So each of this is called a visual. This one is called a visual. This is called a visual, right? And then you arrange them together so they're in one place for your stakeholders to view. Okay, so like I mentioned before, please go ahead and fill the attendance if you want to go through all of this. Right? You can do this afterwards, but please fill the attendance so that we'll be able to send you the recording of this particular class. Okay, so let's dive into Power BI, straight into the business of the day. Who is ready, guys? Who is ready? Who is ready? Who is ready to see what we're going to achieve, right? We want to replicate this. Who is ready, guys? Okay, I see Jimmy said ready. Clementina, I am. Great, great, great. So just 2 people. I only have Jimmy and Clementina. Where's the rest of? Okay, thank you, Lane. Lane is ready. I've not heard from some people today. Guys, okay, great, great, great. Thank you, Miracle, Emmanuel, Obina. Thank you very much, guys. Of course, if you have any question, please go ahead and put it in the chat box. Don't forget, today's, you're supposed to, steal my brain for free, right? If you have any questions, please go ahead and put it in the chat box. I'm going to try as much as possible to respond to everybody. Okay, so let's go. Now we've learned how to use AI to, arrange our questions, right? But how do we actually answer these questions using Power BI? Now I'm going to go ahead and go to Power BI. So this is what Power BI interface looks like. What is Power BI? Power BI is a data visualization tool. Now there are several data visualization tools, right? You have Tableau, you have Google Looker Studio, you have Click Studio. There are many of them, right? There are many, but I think I'm biased. I have a bias for Power BI, right? Maybe because it seems like the sweetest one to use, right? But I mean, all of them are just as good. Okay, so Omolara, like I said, if you want to get the data, right, you might want to scroll up and then fill in the attendance, okay, and to be sent to you, the details to be sent to you, even the recording of the class, so that you can follow up even after this masterclass, okay? Okay, so I see Agogo saying, is it only ChatGPT? Don't we use, of course, you can use any other AI. So we have Claude AI. I'm going to put some of them in the chat box. We have Claude AI. We have Copilot. We have Gemini. I mean, there are countless of them, right? There are many. There are many. You can use Copilot, Gemini, exactly, Meta AI, Claude AI. There are many AIs, right? But like I said, ChatGPT is one of the, I don't want to call it the oldest, right? But one of the popular ones that you can, get around with, okay? So Power BI, like I mentioned, is a data visualization tool. Like I said, you can use as many Power BI, as many data visualization tools as you like. Tableau, Looker Studio, Click, and all of that. But today we're going to focus on Power BI. Now, I think that Power BI, other tools they don't even stand close, right? They don't even have a chance beside Power BI. There are a lot of advantages of using Power BI, right? I mean, first of all, it is Microsoft owned, right? So before now, we used to go ahead and go to Excel and try to do a lot of visualization and all of that, but it just seems like a lot of work coming from that direction. Why? Because Excel is limited. So even here at 10 Analytics, we'll show you, the limitations of Excel and why it's best to use other tools and all of that. Everything will be given to you. Is a very wonderful package, I would say, right? So Microsoft decided, since we've been using Excel and it has its own limitations, why don't we make a power tool? You can see the name, Power BI, right? So the BI behind it means business intelligence. Business intelligence. So basically Power Business Intelligence, right? So we're going to be using Power BI to build our visual today. So no matter how heavy your data is, of course, like we advise people to always keep their data organizations, gather your data. But over time, imagine a company that is keeping data for over 10 years. It's going to become a lot. Excel can no longer handle it, right? That is where some of these bigger boys come in. I call them big boys, right? Power BI comes in, the power tools come in, try to help you, do the work sharp. Okay. So today, I want us to look at Power BI, right? This is the interface. We have basically 4 pages here. So where I am is called like the report view. This is where we're going to be building our visuals and going to arrange them. Okay, we're going to arrange them into our report. Then the second view I have here, you can see where I am, right? The second view I have here is my table view. Now, when I bring in data, you would see the data appear here. I also have model view. So if I'm working with multiple tables, right, I can create a relationship or a connection between them. Then finally, we have the DAX view. So Power BI also has its own sort of like language, right? It's called the DAX, data analysis expression, right? So you use it to create measures, create new columns. Basically, most calculations that you do in Power BI will be happening using the DAX language. Okay, so at the top here, this place is called the ribbon, right? I have this place that says get data, right? Get data. Now, when I click get data, I have options to, work with several data sources. When I mean data sources, of course, you have to connect data from somewhere into Power BI. You have to import data into Power BI, right? You have different options. If I click on more, right, you can see all the options I have here. You can connect to Excel workbook, JSON, CSV, folder, PDF, databases. You can see several databases, MySQL, PostgreSQL, Oracle database. If I scroll down, this is one of the reasons why I love Power BI. I'm still scrolling and it has not ended. You see all the data sources that you can connect to in Power BI. No matter where their data is, you can connect it here. That's one of like the sweetest thing about Power BI, right? So today, the data that we're using is actually an Excel. You can see that it's opened here in Excel, right? So I'm going to import it in here. So when I click the drop down, I'm going to select Excel workbook. I'm going to select Excel workbook. So when I select Excel workbook, you would see my data, right? It has popped up here. I'm going to click on it and then select open. Click on it and select open. So Oluwatoyin, there's a form. Okay, I can see that the form has been dropped for you again, right? So click and then fill the form. Okay, right. Now when I click open, you will see that it is giving me this interface. It's giving me this interface. This is called the navigator pane, right? So when this is basically, when it pops up, it's showing you that there's a connection that you're about to make, right? So I have my sheet here, Gadget Hub. If I come back here, you see the name of the sheet says Gadget Hub here in Excel, right? It means I'm connecting to the right thing. So I'm going to tick it. When I tick the checkbox beside it, and I have a preview of the data that I'm bringing in. Now, this process that I'm doing, there's a process called ETL, right? ETL, E stands for extract, T stands for transform, and L stands for load. So what is extract? This process I've done now is called extraction. That is basically, importing your data from different sources. That is extraction. Now, transformation is, for instance, remember I said it's possible for you to have a data that doesn't have, the rows are missing or inconsistencies, duplicates. All of that will be handled during the process of transformation. So it's more or less like data cleaning. I'm trying to arrange my data. I want to add columns. I want to create calculations and all of that. That is transformation. Now, after you have transformed, you can go ahead and then load the data back into Power BI. So I'm just going to show you a little bit on like the interface of what transformation looks like. You can see right here, I have somewhere that says load and I have another that says transform data and then cancel. So if I click load, I'm basically saying Power BI, I'm not interested in transformation. I just want to extract and then load. So send it directly into my Power BI without any transformation. I don't want to clean the data. I like it as it is. Then the next one, transform data. Now this is going to take you to another interface entirely called the Power Query Editor. So it allows you to do all the transformations I've talked about, remove duplicates, remove rows, calculate, and all of that in Power Query. And then cancel is basically, I don't want this data. I think I got the wrong one. So let me cancel and then, go through the process all over again. So I'm going to click transform data so that you will see what the Power Query interface looks like. You see what Power Query interface looks like. So this is called the Power Query interface. You can see that I also have my data in here, right? And you can see at the top, it's telling me how many valid data I have, how many errors I have, how many empty rows I have in my data, right? So if you go through each of the columns one by one, see me scrolling. If you go through each of the columns one by one, you'll see that I don't have any. I relatively have a very clean data, right? All of them are valid. I don't have any errors. I don't have any empties. Now this is clean data. This is good data. So usually if you work in an organization that has a good data engineer, right, that has everything in place, right? The data engineer is basically somebody that handles the data, anything that concerns the data pipelines and all of that. If there's a good data engineer, you probably not have as much problem in you'll not be doing as much cleaning, right? Okay. All right. So Uche says what if you have an error at this stage, right? So like I said, there are different things that you can do here. You can see at the top here, I have split column, I have remove column, remove rows. There are many things you can do here, right? You can see replace values here. If I come to transform, I was on home. If I come to transform, there are different things I can transpose, use first row as header, replace values, fill, split columns. If you click format, you can change to uppercase. You can trim, you can clean, capitalize each word. You can even go ahead and do calculations. You can see this. Statistical calculation, sum, average, standard, scientific. You can do a lot of things here, right? If you go to add column, you can do conditions. Like, I mean, it's a lot that you can do here in Power Query. Okay, but today, like I said, we're basically focusing on Power BI, right? I'm just showing you what the Power Query interface looks like. Okay, so Uche, you said meaning it can be done by single columns. Of course, yes, you can go ahead and select this and then clean, or you even do control. If you know you want to do a general thing, you click anywhere and control A to highlight everything you have in the data, right? Then you can go ahead and maybe remove duplicates and all of that. So this is dependent on you now as the analyst, right? So if you want to work on a column, you make sure you select the actual column you want to work on. But if you want to work on the entire data, you click anywhere, then control A, this will highlight the entire data. Okay, if you want to work on multiple columns, click the first one, hold your control key, click the second, and you select as many as you want. So that is how this works. So they're not expecting you to, go line by line. That's a lot of work, right? Don't forget that our job is to work smarter and faster. Right, so Victoria said this looks cleaner than Excel. When you say cleaner than Excel, right, it's still also clean in Excel. Okay, so you mean like the formatting? Well, maybe it does actually look cleaner, right? We'll load it now. Okay, so Caroline says, how can I remove duplicates? Right, so like I said, when you do Control A, this will highlight the entire data. Okay, this will highlight the entire data. Then come to your home tab. You have this guy here that says remove rows. See it here. Now I'm not clicking on the icon remove rows. There's like a drop down arrow here. So I'm just going to click the drop down arrow. And then when you come down, you see remove duplicates. So that way you can remove duplicates from the entire data. But please don't forget to highlight the entire data, because you don't want it to, I mean, if you just click, if I click quantity ordered, right? And I say remove duplicates, I have one appearing several times. That is duplicates. It is going to get rid of this, which you don't want. Make sure you select the entire data, Control A. Then you come to your home tab. Under remove rows, I'm not clicking the icon, I'm clicking the drop down and then select remove duplicates. Okay, that's how you remove duplicates, Caroline. Right, so now let's go ahead and close and apply. So at the top here, when you're done with your cleaning and all of that, you can go ahead and close and apply. So when you close that, we have done the process of extract, we have done the process of transform, right? And then we can go ahead and load, which is what we're doing now. So this is loading the data into Power BI so that we can go ahead and create our visuals. Go ahead and create our visuals. So on the right here, okay, so Richard said he cannot see my screen. Is any other person having the same challenge? If you can see my screen, please type yes in the chat box. If you can see my screen, please type yes. Okay, so Richard, you might want to maybe leave the meeting and come back, okay? You want to leave the meeting and come back, that would help, okay? Right, great. Okay, so now it has loaded my data here. You can see here, I have this place that's called the data pane. The data pane. So if I click this drop down, it gives me access to all the columns I have inside my data. I also have the visualization pane. So I have different visuals. See the number of visuals I have here in Power BI. You can play around with as many visuals as you like here in Power BI. Okay, if I also expand this, this is the filters pane. So if I want to add filters to my charts and all of that, my visuals, I'm going to use this pane. So I'm going to try to play with this filters pane, the visualization pane, and also the data pane. Okay, don't forget we're in the report view. You see it's telling us to build visuals with our data. Now, if I come down here to table view, you would see the data here. Remember I told you once you load your data, it comes here to the table view and you can see the entire data, right? Below it, I have the model view. Now I only have one table here. That's why you would only see one table. But if there were multiple tables, like some organizations go ahead and have, many tables, right? I can bring them in here and create a relationship with them. But these are some of the things that we'll be teaching you when you actually join us here at 10Alytics. Now, without wasting too much time, let's go ahead and recreate our report. Let's build a very nice report for this gadget store. Now, the first thing I like to do, I mean, this is just a me thing. You can decide not to. First thing I like to do is, right, I like to come to this place that says under the visualization pane, right, I'm in build visual. We have two things here. We have build visual and then we have format page. So I can go ahead and play with this page, add colors, add whatever effect, pictures, company logo, whatever it is I feel like doing, right? So basically we're just trying to, play around with this page, okay? So below it, I have page information. So if I hit this drop down, I can go ahead and change the page name. So if you come here, you see that I have page 1. So how Power BI works is you can have multiple pages of report. Now, if I click this icon here, you see that this plus icon here, it brings up another page. I can have as many pages as I want, how many pages of reports as I want, right? So I'm just going to get rid of page 2. Okay, so that will be at page 1. So under page information, I can come here and then rename this. So we can just call this maybe gadget store. Call this gadget store. So you can see down here that it has renamed. It's no longer page 1. It's now gadget store. Okay. If I come down to canvas setting, I can change the height and the width of this entire. What it's giving me now is 16 by 9, which honestly is fine by me. But if you hit the drop down, you have other options here that you can play around with, right? Or you even go ahead and customize it where you add the height and the width, specific height and width if you want, right? But what I want us to do is to change this vertical alignment. Like I said, this is just a me thing, right? I like to see my charts, everything together in one place. So it is basically showing me the alignment is to the top. I want to reduce this alignment. So I'm going to click the drop down and change it to middle. Can you see what it did for me? Now I can see the top of my chart. Before, when it was top, you see that the top was missing. Now, if I had something at the top, I would not be able to see it. Like I said, this is just a personal thing, right? So you can go ahead and, play around with it. Okay, so Oluwatoyin says, is it mandatory you take the steps of removing duplicates? Okay. Right, so you said there are some instances that have the same customer ID, same date, but different other ID, yet Power BI takes it as duplicates. So like I said earlier, you want to make sure that you are doing Control A, you're selecting the entire data. Now, let me give you my own experience. So there was a time I was working with a financial institution, right? And they usually accept payments from people. Like, this was early stage of my career, right? And most times customers fill in details. Customers fill in details with amounts and screenshots of their payment and everything. Now, this particular person registered the same amount, right? So let's assume that she sent in $3,000. Just one time she made that transaction, but she registered it multiple times. Same number, same name, same email address, same everything, right? The same ID. She registered it multiple times. Now, that particular payment is not supposed to appear twice. So during the payment, what happens? When it's time for payment, she's going to be paid twice. Why? Because I failed to remove duplicates. Right? So that is a very big problem, especially when you're working with money, to be honest, right? So you want to make sure that you remove duplicates, very important. So there are no two orders that are the same. There are no two orders that are the same. So you can have the same customer order several times, but you cannot have a customer that has the same order. If you have the same order ID, what do I mean by order ID? Every time you order something from a store, you're given a number, right? Even when you go to pick up your delivery, they ask you for an order ID. That is, it makes it easier for them to be able to identify your order. No two orders have the same ID. So if Power BI or Excel is removing something for you, it most likely means that it's removing duplicates. Or maybe from your end, you made the mistake of not selecting the entire data. So it looks through the data in rows and columns. That way it can effectively remove duplicates for you. I don't know if that makes sense, Oluwatoyin. Does that make sense? Oluwatoyin, great. Yes, exactly. So that's why you have an ID, just like Adedayo said, right? You have an ID. Thank you. Just like matric number, no two students. So sometimes you can have students that have the same first name, middle name, last name, right? You can have the same students with the same names. How do you differentiate them? You use an ID. No two persons have the same ID. It's literally called unique identifier. Okay, so you want to make sure that if you're trying to remove duplicates in Power BI or Excel, make sure you select the entire data before you go ahead and remove duplicates. That way it's not removing what is not supposed to remove. Okay. Right, so let's dive straight into this. Now we have formatted this. Like I said, you can go ahead and add as much format as you want. You can add canvas background, change the color. There are many things you can do here. You can add a wallpaper. You see image here. You can go ahead and add a wallpaper, play around with it as much as you want, okay? So first thing I want us to do is to start answering our questions using our suggestions from our chat, okay, from our AI, right? So let me go back to the first thing here. Right, so we're going to try to answer all of these questions. Yeah, we'll try to answer them. So the first question says, which month had the highest sales? Which month had the highest sales, right? That is sales trend. So how I like to tell people or beginners that want to go into data analysis or financial analysis or any kind of analysis, right? How do you walk through this? So the first thing you should do is identify your columns, right? So before you already get to this stage, I'm assuming that you've already understood the data, what is in the data. Now to break this thing, I'm going to find out my columns in the question. You see what it's telling me? Months that had what? Highest sales. So I'm working with two things, months and sales, right? So I come back to my data. Do I have something that is called month? I have month here. I have sales here, right? Now I can plot these two things to get my insight. Now, anytime you're working with data that concerns anything that has to do with dates and all of that, anything that has to do with time, the best chart for you to use is either a line chart or an area chart, right? So sometimes you see some things that look like line, showing trends and all of that. That's the best way for you to actually analyze trends, patterns, right, with time. So let's come back to, we're leaving format page now, we're coming back to build visual. So on the second row here, I have different options of line chart. I have the basic line chart, I have the area chart, I have stacked area chart. You can use any one of your choice on this line, this second row, right? So I want us to use the area chart. So click on area chart. Like I said, you can use any one of your choice. So I'm just going to position it somewhere here. Then I'm going to check my sales. So Power BI is very, user-friendly. It allows you to play around with it. So I'm going to check my sales. So it has given me my total sales. Now, what am I breaking these sales by? So I don't want to use this month number here. If I check this, it's just going to give me the number of the month. Let me come to the data so you see what I mean. So you see month, can you see that it's giving me numbers, right? I don't want the numbers. I want the actual name of the month. So how do I do that? I'm going to come back to my report view, still clicking on this particular visual, right? I will expand. You can see I have order date here. There's an arrow. If you look very well, you see an arrow pointing towards order date. I'm going to click on that arrow. Click on that arrow and you will see something that says date hierarchy. I'll also click on this and then select month. You see that it has divided it into year, quarter, month, day, right? So it depends now on the whatever kind of analysis you want to do. But ours says sales by month. So I'm just going to check month. Note that I'm not checking the other things, I'm checking month, right? Can you see that this has plotted a very nice visual for me? Going through January to December. Now, if you take this to the CEO without even talking much, he already knows that sometime in August, we had the most sales, right? We had the most sales in August. Can you see this? Right. So Miracle, you're saying, can I get the data set? So you want to make sure that you fill the form. Okay. There's a form in the chat box. You might want to scroll up to look for it, right? So fill in your details so that we'll get your email address to send you this data and then the video for you to practice later. Okay. Right. So sometime in August, you can see that there's, like an upward trend here. In July, what happened in July? Right? What did they do differently here? Was there a promotion? Was there something that happened? Was there advertisement that made this trend go up? Right? Would these people have understood that something happened between July to August if you had not done this? Do you think they would have known that this happened between July to August without doing this? Do you think they would have known, guys? What do you think? I want to hear from you. Without doing this, do you think they would have known that there's a spike between July to August? Can you hear me, guys? Exactly, Uche. They would not have known, right? But using a very clear visual, you see that it makes a lot of sense. Now they have to go ahead and do their homework. What happened in July? What made the sales, drop as much? You also see in May, right? But along the August, September, October, November, December, we have the most sales here. We had the most sales here. What did they do? What are the strategies that they use to get sales to be this high? Right? So they might want to employ this for the other months that have this, low trend. Right? Now, this makes a lot of sense. This makes a whole lot of sense. Right? So we can go ahead and plot our second visual. Let's answer the next question. So the next question says, what are the top selling products? So don't forget that they have a bunch of products on their shelf, like gadgets on their shelf, right? Which ones are the top selling? Which ones are giving them the most product? Maybe that way they'll be able to work on inventory. They will know whether to restock and all of that. Okay, they will know whether to restock and all of that. Okay, so Adedayo, so like I said, you might want to fill the form, right? You might want to fill the form so that you can have access to this recording. Fill the form so that we'll get your email, you have access to the recording, and you can try this in your leisure, right, after this session. Okay, right. So now let's plot the second question. Let's plot the second question. Top selling products. Top selling products. Okay, so Uche says, why didn't we use the month to plot on sales trend? We use the month. These are the months here. You can see the months here. I have January, February, March, April. These are the months. We use the months to plot the sales trend. Okay, so this is sales across each of the months. So you might want to look at it very well. This is sales across each month. It's telling us how each month, so this is month on month, right? Okay. So now top selling products. So I want to use a pie chart, a bar chart for that, right? So I'm selecting my bar chart, this one, and I'm just going to arrange this here. I'm going to arrange this somewhere here. Okay, and then I'm going to select product. You can see product here, and also select sales, right? Now it has even arranged this for me. It has arranged this for me. Now I can see that MacBook Pro laptop had the most sales. If I had not done this, I would not have known that MacBook Pro had the most sales. So I can go ahead and, maybe reduce this to the top 10. So I come to my filter, and then I want to filter products. So I hit the drop down, change basic filtering to top N, right? So I have top 10. We can do top 10 based on sales. So I drop it here and go ahead and apply filter. So this reduces it to top 10. Okay, this reduces it to top 10 products and removes the others. Now I can go ahead and create a report telling them, which of the products had the most sales, or the top 10 products with the most sales. Okay, so the next question we have here is, which city generates the most revenue? Now, anytime you're working with location, the best chart to use would be your map, right? Would be your map. You have different maps here, right? I have my map and I have my field map, right? So you can pick any of them if you choose. I'm just going to select my map. Okay, and arrange it somewhere here. So when you move around Power BI, it is going to sort of like give you, you would see when I move around here, you'd see a red line, right? Showing me how I can arrange, or how I can, what's that word now? Basically align my charts, right? So sales by the city. I'm going to check city, right? Now, so how this works is it gives me bubbles. It gives me bubbles, right? The bigger the bubble, the more the sales, right? The bigger the bubble, the more the sales. The smaller the bubbles, the lesser the sales. So I can see some bubbles that look a lot bigger and some are smaller, right? So the smaller ones, you know that these ones had the least sales. The bigger ones had the most sales. I can see this one, San Francisco, right? Return over 68,000, in sales alone, right? You can see the other two just at the end here. So this has answered our question. Now let's also go to the other. What is the most popular payment method? What is the most popular payment method? Okay. Now in my payment method, if I come to my data, I have credit card and then cash. So I want to know which one my customers use to make payments the most. Which of them do they use to make payments the most, right? So I would want to use maybe a donut chart or a pie chart so I can view this in percentage, based on percentage, right? Like slice of a pie, technically. Okay. So now I'm going to select the donut chart, maybe because I love donuts, I don't know, right? So I'm going to select donuts. You can select pie, whichever one you prefer. They both answer the question. Okay. So now I'm going to select payment method. So payment method, right? And then I'm also going to drag payment method to values. I'll drag payment method to values, right? Now you can see that this has counted the number of payment methods I have. How many times did credit card appear? How many times did cash appear inside my data, right? But what it is doing for me now is count, right? I can decide I want to do count. I can decide that, well, okay, this is fine though. Count, yeah, this is fine. Count the number of payment methods is fine, right? So from here, I can see that 51%, I don't know if you can see this or if it is too tiny, so you might want to zoom in. 51% of my customers, right, use cash. They make payment using cash, right? And then 48% makes payment using credit card. I would not have known this if I had not plotted this chart, right? Does this not make sense? Okay, then another thing I can do is I want the CEO to be able to come here, the stakeholders to be able to come here and then see like something like numbers, right? So key metrics, key performance indicators, right? How much sales did we make in total? Overall, how much sales did we make, right? How can we do that? We can use something called a card visual. So if you come towards the right here, you have this thing that says 1, 2, 3. This is a card. It just basically has you use it to summarize something or summarize numbers, aggregate numbers. You can calculate average, you can do sum, you can do, whatever calculation that you choose to do using card. So I'm going to click on card, and I want to put it somewhere at the top here. I want to put it somewhere at the top here, right? And then I want to see the total sales. In general, how much did they make in total? How much did they make in total, right? So I'm going to check sales. You can see that it has generated a number for me, total number for me, right? It has generated the total number for me. Okay, so I see I have some questions here, right? So just give me a second. I'll come back to your questions. I want us to try to finish this and then I'll answer all the questions in the chat. Okay. Now, the next thing, we can decide to see maybe the total number of orders that they have, right? We have seen the total amount of sales, the sum of the sales. Let's also see how many orders that they have received so far in 1 year, right? We can go ahead and also use a card visual since it's a key metric. So I click on this and then I look for my orders, right? I know that I have order ID, which signifies like each of the orders that I have. So I click on order ID. I click on order ID, but just to make sure that I don't have an order ID that is, appearing several times, right? Because remember, like we said, there is no order that has more than one there's no order ID with more than one order, right? It's a unique identifier for the order. So I'm going to come here where I have count of order. I'm under visualization pane, click the drop down, and then I will change this to count distinct. Count distinct. right? That way it counts the numbers once. It's just like somebody said, matriculation number, right? You don't want to count the same student multiple times. You want to count that student only once. That's why we're doing count distinct, okay? That's why we're doing count distinct, right? So when you click the drop down, you have options to do standard deviation, median, mean, and all of that. You can do as much calculation as you want here. Now we have successfully answered most of the questions, right? We have seen the products that gave us the most sales. We have seen the months, that contributed the most to the sales. We have also seen the cities that have contributed the most to sales. We have seen, the payment method, the most used payment methods that we have here, right, in this gadget company. But we're missing something. We don't have a header. You want to make sure that your report always has a header, right? A title. What are you doing? Right? They want to look at it and then it looks very nice. So we're going to bring in something like, so at the top here, I have this place that says insert. I have this place that says insert, right? So I can go ahead. I have different options. I can insert a text box. I can insert a shape and all of that. You can even insert image, whatever you like. So I want us to use shape. I want us to use shape, right? I want us to use this rectangle. I want us to use this rectangle. So we're going to use this to sort of like form a, we're going to use this to form like the header, right? The background header. So you can do as much design as you want here. I'm just going to put it at the top here and then arrange this. Okay. So this is me just arranging this to look nice. Okay. Then you can also change the color. I mean, this is already taking shape. You can see that it's taking shape, right? I can go ahead and change the color. How do I do that? Now, when I select on the shape, right, you can see that I have format shape. If I select on any chart, you see that it changes, right? If I select on any of the charts, the details of the chart changes. The details of the chart changes, right? If I click an empty space, I'm not selecting anything. It brings me back to the first page that we had before we even started bringing in visuals, right? So let's click on this and then try to format this shape. Right, so when we hit this drop down, you can go ahead and change the type of shape you have. You have pentagon, oval, octagon, whichever one you prefer, right? You can choose any of the options that you want. But for me, I'm going to go to style. I want to change the color of this shape. I want to change the color of this shape. So when I go to style, under style, I have fill, right? So if I hit the drop down, I have different options, different colors that I can pick from, right? So if you don't like any one here, you can click on more colors. Now, this is going to give you, if we have designers here, we have different color codes. For every color that we have, there's a color code, just like we have unique identifier, right? We also have unique identifiers for colors, right? So today I want to use a specific color. So ash. So you can go ahead and click this in your own 907. I'm just using something like purple, like ICE. So you don't have to cram this, right? I literally just went online and got a color, right? I just researched for a color code. It looked nice and I picked it. So you don't have to cram this. You can pick any color of your choice, right? So this is fine by me. I like this color at the back. So this is good. I'm just going to leave it like this. Okay. Then I go ahead and add my title, right? This is just design. I go ahead and add my title. So before I do that, yeah, let's go ahead and add the title. I'm going to send this to the back, right? I don't know if you understand what I mean by sending to back. So it's basically like, I don't want it. You can see that it's in front of my chart. I don't want it in front of my chart. I want it behind. So I'm going to click on it. At the top here, I have this place that says format. So click on format and then you can bring it forward. You can send it backwards. So I'm going to hit the drop down and then send it to back, right? That way it will be behind all of these charts when I click an empty space. Can you see what this does for me? It has sent it behind, okay? Now I'm going to bring in a text box, right? So from the home tab, you can bring in text box, or you go to insert, the same place we're coming from, and you also see text box. Text box is just like a box where you can type. So I can just give this a header and say this is sales performance report. Sales performance report. So I'll highlight everything. You can go ahead and highlight like this, or you just click and then do Control A, right? Then you select the font size. Let's use maybe something like 32 We can make it bold. You have different options here. You can change the alignment and all of that, right? You have different options here. And then I'm just going to take this to the top. I think I'm fine where it is. I'm going to align it and take it to the top here. So it's somewhere here. Drag it, just basically drag to arrange it till you're satisfied, right? Arrange it till you're satisfied. Okay, so what I want to do is I don't want to see this white background at the back, right? I don't want to see this background. I want it to blend into the shape that I already have. So what do? Remember I told you once you click on anything, you can format it here. When I select shape, it's going to show format shape. If I select the text box, you see that it's showing me format text box. So I can go ahead and add, any kind of formatting I want. So I'm going to come to effect. I have this place that says background. I'm going to turn this off. Can you see that it looks a lot better, right? It looks a lot better. It has blended into my shape, and then I'm fine with this title. Okay, so I'm going to try to arrange every other thing that we have here so they all look nice. Let me reduce this a bit. I'm going to arrange this and make sure that they are aligned. Okay, so I'll highlight these two by holding my control key. I want to work on both of them together. So click the first one, then the second one. Come to format your visual, go to general, I'm going to effect, right? Then I go to visual border, turn on the border, change the color to what I had. Just to follow the details I have, change this to 5. Right, you see that this is already taking shape. So I'm going to do the same thing for this one. Click here, come to visual border, turn this on, change this, right? Change the border and also increase the width by 5. Okay, increase the width by 5. I'll also come back to visual here. I'm in general, come to visual, come to the line, come to the line, scroll down till you see color and change this to this color, right? So I'm trying to, arrange everything to look nice and appealing. So I select the bar chart. I'm going to do the same process, right? Go to general, turn on the visual border, change this to this color that I had before, change this to 5 pixel, come to visual again, go to bars and change the color. So this is just me walking around with, the colors I have here. So I click the map, I'll do the same process. Come to general, turn on the visual border, change this to the purple color and then this to 5. Okay, change this to 5 and come to visual. Then for the bubbles, I can increase the size of the bubbles a bit, right? I can increase the size of the bubbles if I want. I can also change the color of the bubbles to look something like this, okay? So when I zoom in, I can see, more, I can move around the chart. I can even click on it and move around the chart. So I know that somebody asked, can I add text? Yes, you can go ahead and add text if you want, right? You can go ahead, you have category labels, you can add text if you choose, maybe the amount or the city name, you can go ahead and add all of those, okay? Now I'll do the last thing for this, go to general, turn on visual border, change this to my color code, then 5, okay? And I will come back to my visual. I was in general, come back to visual. For the slices, I'll also give it a color that, looks similar to the theme color I have, right? Okay, let me take this to something darker. Right, and then you can see that we have successfully built a very nice dashboard. So I'm just going to arrange this a bit to make it look nice and appealing. Okay, now the last thing I want us to do is to add something called a slicer. So a slicer is sort of like a filter, right, that allows them to actually click and find details on maybe different metrics or basically different details, right? So for this instance, I want us to use the city, right? So that when they click each city, they can go ahead and select and check what has happened in the city. So how do I add slicer? So I have slicer here. You see something that looks like, that has a funnel beside it. I'll take it to the top here and then bring in city, right? But this does not look nice. I'm going to arrange it. So I'll come to format your visual, go to general, go to effects. I'll turn off the background so it sort of blends in to my chart. I'll come to visual, then go to the settings, slicer setting. I'll change this to drop down. right? Change this to drop down, go to slicer heading. I can even increase the, the text that I have there. Increase the text I have there. I will do the same thing for the values just to make it look nice. And I'll arrange this to the top. Arranges to the top. Can you see that we have built a very wonderful report that we can go ahead and give our CEOs, the stakeholders, right, to play around with. So if I want to see what has happened in Atlanta, I just click on Atlanta. You see that everything has now been focused on only Atlanta. I can select to see what has happened in Boston, in Dallas, in New York, and all of that, right? Guys, are you not amazed? Are you not amazed? Does this not make a lot of sense? Please let me know if you're amazed. Give me, I'm amazed, right? So Victoria says beautiful. Yeah, so this is just a snippet of things that will be showing you here at Tenalytics when you eventually join us, okay? So Uche said, I'm amazed. Great, great, great. I'm glad that you're amazed, guys. Right, exactly. So I've made your work easier, right? Excellent. Yes, thank you very much, guys. Okay, so I believe I've answered most of the question, right? So I already answered this question. Is there a way for you to show sales on the map? So if you go to the map setting, you would see that, okay? How do you use the application Power BI? So if you go to your Microsoft Store, you have Power BI there. It's free, right? So some of these other questions, like I said, join me at Tenalytics and then I'll give you the answer to all of them, okay? All right, so thank you very much, guys, for sticking with me. I hope that you learned one or two, wonderful things today, okay? So thank you very much, guys. So Chukwemeka,
All right.
over
Thank you
to
so
you.
much. Thank you so much, Amaka. If you followed us to this very moment, I'm gonna just leave the dashboard on the screen. You can close down the visual tab, data tab, so that they see the dashboard clearly. All right. So that if you joined earlier, you have a comparison between the data that we had before and what we have right now. So if you are in any company and someone you're working with presents that initial scattered data in Excel, and the second person is presenting this, who are you going to take very serious? Okay, so that's what we are trying to walk people through for you to know how to be able to present your data in a way that it can be easily readable and can easily give everyone insights. Now, Amaka did this within a space of, let's say, 1 hour, trying to teach you, right? Technically for her to do this on her own, to just be within 15 minutes as she's done. Right? 15 minutes is actually a lot of time, which should tell you that it is not a lot of work. I know we have a lot of questions, and we're going to handle all those questions for you. All right. In the next 15, 20 minutes, what I'm going to be presenting will handle most of the questions that we have. All right. But if you are still following us to this very moment, please, if you need the data set and if you want to record of everything that happened, make sure that you fill the attendance form. Okay. So by the end of this class, we are going to send the slide of this exact class and also the recording of it for you to practice on your own if you desire so. Okay, so in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to walk us through the other aspect of what we need to know with regards to getting into any of these technical career paths. So thank you so much, Amaka. I'm going to take it up from here and walk everyone through what we are going to get into right now. Okay, I'm going to bring up my screen. Hi, Priscilla. Can't seem to bring up my screen from my second device. Please check. I don't think I'm a host. My second device is not a host. Hi, Priscilla, are you there? Okay, so it's up now. All right, thank you so much. All right, so if you're looking to get into any of these parts, I know you'll be wondering, how can I get started? How can I get started? So I'm here to answer that exact question for you. How can you get started? That's a question that everyone always answers. I know a couple of people on this call have already started. Some people have already secured their spots and they're just here to get a feel of how the class will go. So I'm going to walk you through how you can be able to make that journey. All right, first thing first, okay? First thing first, you need to select your desired technical career path. Then number two, you need to learn the skill. Number three, you need to gain project-based experience. Number four, you need to gain employability skill. 5, you need to get networked. And then number 6, that's where mentorship comes in. So I'm going to walk us through all these things for us to see how we can easily get started. First, like I said, is to select the right career path. Now, what do we normally do? We scrape all the job boards that you can think and then analyze all those job boards with the jobs that has ease of learning ease of transitioning, and high rewarding salary. And from it, we're able to come up with 8 career paths that will give you these exact things that you are looking for. All right. But out of those 8, the first 4 has need for Power BI, which is what we just demonstrated today. Right. If you see a business analyst, a data analyst, a HR analyst, or a financial analyst, they all have the need for Power BI. And that's why we had to explain Power BI tonight. Okay. And after we've selected all these career paths, we did what we call external validation to make sure that all these career paths in the next coming years, that they are going to still be in high demand. Okay, so in the next coming years, these career paths will still be in high demand. And if you see my screen, all the career paths in the left-hand side will give you that in demand. Like in the next 10 years to come, they will still be in demand. But the ones on the right-hand side are the ones that are going to decline in the next coming years. So if your current job is on this right-hand side, you need to make sure that you move to this left-hand side. And the first thing that you can see amongst the jobs that will grow is AI and machine learning. I'm sure it's not a surprise to all of us that AI and machine learning is the first thing that is going to grow because, like we all know, AI is here to stay, right? And if you look at those ones that we colored red, you're going to see business intelligence analysts, which represents data analysts. You see data analysts and scientists as well. And then if you move down, you see process automation specialists, which is also the business analyst. All right. And then moving on, you see financial analysts and also supply chain and logistics analysts. So all these career paths that we talked about are going to be in high demand in the next coming years. Now, I know you might be wondering which one is HR analytics, which one is financial analytics, which one is data analytics, which one is this. So I'm going to explain each of them for us. Okay, someone can't see my screen. Hi, Caroline. You may want to log out and log back in so they can see my screen clearly, right? Because I'm using 3 devices and I can see the screen in the second one. Okay, so I'm going to explain them so that I can easily understand the one that suits you. Now, who exactly is a data analyst, right? Who is a data analyst? A data analyst is someone that simply just did what Amaka did in this class, all right? They are there to analyze and interpret the data to bring out insights for management to make decisions. So that's simply it. If you joined earlier, you notice that our data was just in a spreadsheet format. When we were asked, okay, which state made in highest sale, what product is the highest selling, everyone was answering differently. But once a data analyst comes into the question, there is no other option. I mean, someone always said, if you're speaking to me, speak to me with data. If not, it's just an opinion that you have. Okay? But a data analyst, when they speak with facts because they can clearly show you an evidence of what is going on. So these are people that are responsible for analyzing and interpreting data to bring out insights from it. And they basically answer 2 basic questions. What happened and why did it happen? What happened and why did it happen? It clearly saw from what Amaka demonstrated that at a point, I think from August upwards, the revenue skyrocketed. Now, without that exact insight, they were not able to see that exact description. So this is telling them that between August and December, we had an increased income. Now, why did it happen? That's also a question that the data analyst is going to answer. So a data analyst is handling 2 basic aspects of data: descriptive analytics and, of course, diagnostic analytics. Now, moving on, a business analyst is someone who is specialized in improving all the processes and systems that exist in the company. Okay, so they will identify each process and figure out a way to make it better. For instance, using the banking hall as an example, as far back as 2011 or 12, if you go into any Nigerian bank then, you notice there's always a long queue. Okay, people come in, queue up to perform transactions. Business analysts looked at it and said, how do we make the customer's journey easier? And that was the advent of mobile apps, internet banking, agency banking, and the rest of it. Now, the idea is simple. A business analyst is there to improve the business processes, okay? And for them to improve business processes, they need to have understanding of data as well. So you are seeing why Power BI is also relevant for what they will be doing. Now, next one is financial analysts. Like the name implies, these are just data analysts that have specialized in financial data. So all companies on day-to-day wants to be able to make sense of the financial data they have. Someone needs to be able to make sense of that data, and that's where the financial analyst comes in. A financial analyst is a data analyst that specializes in financial data. The same thing with HR analysts. With the advent of so many things happening in the companies, HR wants to be able to know, are my people actually happy? What do this set of people need? I've noticed that maybe by the third year of each person's employment, they tend to resign. What is going on? Which means there is need for someone to analyze the people's data, right? And that's where the HR analyst comes in as well. So HR analysts are data analysts that specialize in HR data. So these are the clear 4 different career paths that has direct access to Power BI. They have direct use respect to what Power BI is talking about. And when we talk about data analytics, it doesn't mean that you can only apply to roles as a data analyst. If you look on my screen, you can see other roles that you can also apply as a data analyst. You have your logistics analyst, your operations analyst, customer analyst, sales analyst, and so much more. Same thing as a financial analyst. Doesn't mean that you are only confined to being a financial analyst. You can also apply to roles in data analyst, and of course, treasury analyst, pricing analyst, portfolio analyst, and the rest of them. So each of those 4 career paths also have other different branches that you and I can comfortably be able to apply to. And we're looking at Robert Half prediction for 2025, and he said that companies plan to increase salaries by 2025. And the most notable companies among these are the tech and IT sector. And the reason why they are doing this is to stay competitive in the hiring market and, of course, to attract skilled talent, which means tech and IT companies are out there looking for people that can do all these things with increased income, right? If you want to read the report, please, when you get the slide, you can go through it and be able to read more. Now, the number 2 thing you also need to do is to learn the technical skills, right? People always come to us, oh, Chukwuemeka, I have masters in data science, all right? But can you use this? I have masters in data analytics of AI. Can you use Power BI? No. Can you use Excel? No. Now, what exactly are you mastered in? That's where the challenge is. And in the tech ecosystem, recruiters want people that are hands-on, people that can do and not people that can just say. So all our classes have a blended learning approach. So the same way that we had Amaka teaching us right now, that same way our classes, you have someone teaching you live instructor-led. So you're going to be hearing from the person directly. And of course, you also have a self-paced side where you can now be able to see and watch a video reflecting what the facilitator have done. So you have your live classes and you also have the self-paced watch me do it videos for you to also go through. Now, like I always tell everyone, for you to break into the tech industry, there's only one thing involved: project and portfolio. Now, you can easily tell someone, oh, I'm a graduate of I'm a graduate of mechanical engineering from Harvard University. And someone can tell you, oh, I didn't go to Harvard University, but I can repair cars. This is my mechanic workshop. Bring your car, let me repair for you. Whom exactly are you going to give your car to? The person that is saying, I'm a graduate from Harvard University of mechanical engineering, bring your car. Or the other person that is saying, I'm not a graduate, but I've repaired Aston Martin, I've repaired Toyota, I've repaired Benz. This is my workshop. These are cars I've repaired in the past. Whom exactly are you going to give your car to repair for you? This or that? Temitope said mechanical, fantastic. And that is simply it, all right? In the tech ecosystem as well, this is people that the recruiters are looking for. That is the honest truth, okay? There are people that have gone to school to read data analytics, all right? But are they hands-on with respect to practicalizing what they need to do? So recruiters want someone that has evidence of what they have done. So I'm simply going to show you a portfolio of a past data analyst with us so that you can see how you can actually be able to build and present yourself as a full-fledged data analyst. How do you bridge the gap of experience for you to be able to land your role? So when you click on this place, when you get your slide, you will see this exact portfolio Victoria has. So you can see that she worked on Deep Care Hospital ER risk analysis. She worked on Red Ducks Airline. She worked on Express Tech Food Delivery. She worked on Nestle Product Analysis. She worked on Zenith Electronics and others. Okay? Because everything that you're learning in the classroom involves a project. So from all these things, you can easily see that Victoria has touched base with more than 5 different sectors of the economy. First one in the health sector, second one in the aviation industry, third one in the logistics sector, fourth one in FMCG industry, and last one in technology ecosystem. Now, these are 5 different sectors. And once you click on each of them, you can see evidence of what she did. Now, Victoria is going to come to interviews with her own portfolio, and you are going to come with your own to the interview with, I'm a master's degree holder from Harvard University. Who do you think the recruiters are going to pick? Someone that have had product-based experience from 5 different sectors, or you that is coming with a degree from Harvard University? And that's where the issue lies. One of them is already experienced, even though they're yet to break into the industry, while the other person is not yet experienced. And that is what we try to do. So every single thing that you'll be learning has projects attached to it, that in the end, you will be able to have a full-blown project that can show as evidence of things that you've done in the past. And that's how I can also be able to speak from a place of experience. Oh, hi, Chukwemeka, tell me about a time in the past where you've worked with Power BI. I can easily tell them, oh, while I was consulting with analytics, I worked on this hospital ER visit analysis, where I was able to see that the number of patients that came were close to 10,000, and their waiting time was close to 40 minutes. And after it, I was able to see where the issues are, and we closed down the gap. Now, you've spoken to them in a constructive manner that shows that you've been able to have experience using Power BI. Next one is for you to gain employability skills. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tough, all right? Everyone may have technical skill, but not everyone knows how to put it together and apply to jobs. Okay, so that's why the first thing we'll walk you through is CV review sessions. And for you to land a job, your technical skill and your employability skills, that's what is going to help you land that exact job offer. Okay, so first thing we'll put you through is, how do I match my CV to the job I want to apply to? Okay, because the mistake most of us make these days is that we use one CV to apply to multiple roles. We are doing easy apply, easy apply, easy apply. And that is already a mistake. You need to be able to tailor your CV down to the job that you want to apply to. Okay, next one is LinkedIn optimization session. How do you also build your LinkedIn in a way that it remains visible to recruiters, that they can easily see you and be able to ask you if you want a job? All right, so these are things that we put people through. We also walk you through how to navigate the job market. We bring expert recruiters back to classroom to walk you through all these things. And then interview preparatory classes, that once you land an interview invite, we are here to provide you with a mock interview preparatory class. And when you land a job and recruiters need references, we also provide you with references and recommendation letter. We also provide you with on-the-job support, weekly mentorship programs, and then Upwork sessions to make sure they can easily use Upwork with respect to getting contractual services and side incomes. Now, next one is the community that you belong in. You are as strong as your community. So something happened in the past. We had this exact student that came to us, that's Stephen, Anointing Stephen. I just want to say a very big thank you for providing me with a reference. Now, next thing he mentioned is, I am still getting offers, but I don't know who I can recommend. If you have anybody who is solid enough that I can recommend in case another comes forth within Scotland area, please send them across my way. And we were able to send 2 students to Anointing Stephen, and they both got jobs. So these are the powerful impacts that networking can also give to you. And that's one of the benefits of learning with a structured approach. Okay, next one, can also see a couple of people that have been able to go through the same company, because one person joined that company first, another individual had to bring in their colleagues that they were in the same classes with. But when you don't have some of these possibilities, it becomes a challenge for you. And the other one now is mentorship. Mentorship is as important as your technical learning. Sometimes you can be motivated and jump and start the course. But along the line, you lose focus. And that's why we have classes like the power of focus. We have classes to handle interview simulation processes. We have body mentorship programs where we bring in past students to come into the classroom and mentor you on how they were able to navigate it for themselves. We have the sit and start framework, which you use for your interview sessions. How do you answer questions using the STAR approach, which is situation, task, action, and result? Okay, and the several others, setting your goals for tech career, etc. Mentorship is as important as the technical skills that you are getting as well, because these are things that is going to set you apart from every other person. Now, what exactly does each role entail? Now, for business analysis, like I've mentioned, you serve as someone coming to improve the processes that is in the company, all right? And the key things that you will be learning includes Excel, Power BI, and SQL. Power BI is part of the things that we handle tonight. Then you also learn process mapping, project initiation planning, Agile and Scrum for projects, software development lifecycle, requirements fundamentals, elicitation method, stakeholder analysis, and ChatGPT for business analysis. Now, the learning timeline is for 4 months, where you learn immersively in the classroom for 2 months, and they have an internship experience for the other 2 months. The class holds every Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, and then the evening class, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. Then on Sundays, you get the Watch Me Do It videos that you are going to watch to prepare you for the next weekend as well. Now, the other one now is the data analyst, financial analyst, and HR analyst. So if you can see from my screen, the first 4 things, they are all learning the same thing. Problem solving, Excel, Power BI, and SQL. So these are things that all the career paths will learn. Data analyst, financial analyst, HR analyst. But then number 5, the data analyst will now go deeper into Tableau and then move into data storytelling, move into how to utilize ChatGPT for analytics, and of course, Microsoft Fabrics. Then by week 5 also, the financial person is now streamlining themselves to accounting fundamentals, your income statement, your balance sheet, and your cash flow, right? How do you utilize Excel with respect to building your cash flow system? How do you use Excel to build a financial model to make a projection for 5 years to come? And also your valuation and sensitivity and scenario analysis, and also ChatGPT analysis. The HR analyst, on the other part, move into performance evaluation. How do you use Excel to do your attrition reports? How do you use Excel to build your performance trackings, to build dashboards with respect to seeing the key performance indicators that your colleagues or your staff currently have? And then you move on to building, yeah, Priscilla, I think there's a feedback coming from your side. Then you move on to building your case study, and of course, also ChatGPT for analytics. So all these are things that you are going to learn. All these are things that you are going to learn. Then the learning timeline also for all of them is for 4 months, where you learn immersively in the classroom for 3 months, and then have an internship experience with us for the other 1 month. The class is the same, Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, and then the evening class, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. You don't have to be in both of them. So it is morning or evening. So we classify this such way because we have people joining from Canada, US, UK, and different countries. So people in Europe, UK, and Africa, preferably the morning class suits their own time zone. Whereas people in Canada, USA, the evening class suits their own time zone. So this is how we help you to move from where you are at the moment into landing a job in the tech ecosystem. I hope I've been able to explain the career paths that will utilize Power BI with respect to landing their jobs. So all these things always seems impossible until it is done. But we've had people that have been able to move from one career path to the other. A lot of people actually, okay? A lot of people. So we have Abigail. Abigail moved from being a care worker into business analysis. Toyin moved from being a pharmacist into becoming a benefit analyst. Same thing with Ramat. Ramat moved from being a customer service person into landing a job with NHS as also a business architect. So all these things are possible. We have other people that have also been able to make this exact journey. All right. And this is to tell you that it is 100% possible. Right. So when you get the slide, you can go through it personally on your own, watch all the recordings there, and be able to see how their own journey was. Okay. So they can be able to pick lessons from one place or the other. So all these are all success stories. We've also had sessions where we brought in the past students to come to the class and speak to people. Okay, so these are all those sessions. You can also click on it to watch what they had to say with respect to how their own experience was. Now, like I mentioned, the next cohort is starting by December 7th. So we always have new cohorts starting by the first Saturday of each month. Okay, so next one is starting December 7th, and the upper one is starting by January 4th. And we have a discount for the first 20 to register. Okay, for business analysis, data analytics, HR, and of course, financial analytics, the full pricing is $750, but it's currently discounted to the first people to register with respect to $600. And I can tell you for a fact, the 20 spots are already filled up. We had to make adjustments because of this class to open up some roles, open up some vacancies to accommodate people coming from this exact master class. Okay, and how can you be able to secure your spot? So once you click on that enrollment link, it will bring you to Tenalytics Enrollment Center. Right, all you have to do is scroll down and look for the program that you are looking to join. If you're looking for data analytics, it is here. Business analysis, data, everything, it is here. So what you have to now do is click on register for DA. So I've clicked on it. It's bringing me to the page where I can select how I want to make my own payments. So what you have to do at this point is select how you want your payment option to be, right? You have the option to pay one off. You have the option to pay in 2 installments, and you have the option to pay in 3 installments, right? Like I said before, data analytics spots were all fully taken, right? This afternoon, we'll have to make available 10 more seats, and 1 is already gone. Okay, so if you want to make one off, simply select 600. If you want to pay in 2 installments, select 300. If you want to pay in 3 installments, select 200. So I've selected 200, scroll down, click on proceed to pay. So I'm seeing that my first payment is due today. Next payment is due by December 21st. And the last one is due by January 21st, which means you can stretch your payments for 3 different months. And once you've seen it, click on proceed, and it brings you to this page. All you have to do is fill in your name, your email address, your phone number, and click on pay for product. So once you do this, it's going to pop out a checkout option for you to put your details, all right? So if you're trying to make payments from UK, it will automatically convert that 200 USD to pounds for you. If you're trying to make payments from Nigeria, it's going to convert that 200 USD to Naira for you. So it picks the card you're trying to make payments through and converts the currency of that exact location. So this is to allow you to be able to make payments from anywhere you are across the globe. And once you are done doing that, just come back to this page, go to upload your receipt, and simply click on it and upload your details. So that is how you can easily secure your spot. And remember, you have the option to secure your spot and defer for 1 month, which means you don't want to start by December 7th, but you want to start by January. You can secure your spot and defer till January. The beauty is that by January, if there's any price change, it's not going to affect you. You've already secured your spot and you're already in the program. It's just for you to continue your learning. But if you wait till January for you to be able to register, if there's any price increase because of the economic changes, it will definitely affect you. So I don't know if at this point we have any questions that needs to be addressed. You can drop it in the chat box and we are going to pick it, or you can use the raise hand icon and would call you up to speak directly to us to ask your own question. Okay? Do you have any question? I know someone was typing about, okay, that should be from Caroline, about agile project management. Now, this is not an agile class. That's why I was trying to run away from that exact discussion. Okay, so we always have sessions on the different programs that we offer. But while we're waiting for others to ask their own question, I'm going to just scratch agile for you. See, agile is fully people that serve as coach and leaders in a project management team, right? So they are not doing anything technical like Excel, Power BI, or SQL. Their responsibility is to read the agile methodologies and make sure that everybody within the team is working using the agile method. All right, you are going to be learning a lot of things under agile projects. You're going to learn the communication, the skills aspects. You are going to also learn Jira and Confluence with respect to your project tracking. So you are going there to serve as a leader and a coach within the agile project management team. You are not making use of Excel, you're not making use of Power BI. It is not your technical tool. What you'll be learning is Jira and Confluence, because these are things that we use for your own project tracking. I hope that answers your question, Caroline. Okay. You're asking about product analysts. It's not outlined. Now, product analysts are also people that are data analysts, but they've streamlined themselves to products. The same way you have customer analysts, you have sustainability analysts, you have logistics analysts. They are all data analysts that have streamlined themselves to a particular niche, and they are building it up from there. I hope that makes sense to you now, Caroline. Sorry, I thought you were talking about project management. I don't know if at this point there's any question from anyone with regards to joining the program. Please, you can use the raise hand icon, or you can drop it in the chat box, and we are going to pick it up from there because we are rounding up in the next couple of minutes. Okay, we have Abdurraham, we have Aziz, we have Chinyalom, we have Chugo, Coach P, Deji, Deola, Eni, Etan, Ezekiel, Gift, iPhone, Jackie's, King Dimeji, Lane, Miracle, Muidin, NG, Obina, Obi, Oluwatoyi, Opeyemi, Otega, Oyindamola, Pat, P, Princess, Richard, Rosie, Tayo. We have a lot of people here, okay? So if you have any question, please feel free to ask your question, and we are going to answer it right here. Please, does any of the program require certification? Abduram, I don't think you started this conversation with us. Now, I mentioned that in the end of the classes, you get certificates for any of the programs that you join. You are going to get certificates, but certification is not what is being needed in this tech industry. If you're looking to break into the tech ecosystem and you're looking for where to get certificates, you are doing it wrongly. I mean, I know a couple of people that will tell you, oh, I have Google Data Analytics certification, I have Microsoft Data Analytics certification, I have IBM certification. It is just company-specific certification. It's not like there's a certification body that certifies data analysts. No, they're just company-specific certification. All right. And when you speak to those people, you understand that what they have is more of theoretical understanding. Give them a data set and ask them, please bring out the insight from this. And that's what they will tell you, oh, I don't know how to use Power BI, I don't know how to use this. But as a data analyst, that is what you need to do. There's nothing theoretical about data analytics. You're not coming to that place to speak English. It's just simply what Amaka did, they are going to be heavy on, bringing out insights from data, and that is just it. Right? So you will get a certificate in the end of these trainings, but certification is not what you should be looking for. Right? So I'll quickly do one check so that we'll actually see that it is not what we are looking for. So let's go to Read. So if you go to read.co.uk, it's one of the job boards that are out there that can easily utilize to get jobs. Let's search for data analyst roles in UK. Right? Let's search for data analyst roles in United Kingdom and see what they are going to ask us. All right, United Kingdom. Search. So it's showing us a couple of jobs that are available right there. That's 2,724 data analyst role. Let's click on this fraud data analyst. Right. Once you click on it, you are going to see what is going to bring out for you. What are we looking for? You can see what they're looking for. Attention to detail and highly organized, strong communication skill, confident presenting, which your data storytelling will handle, Excel skill, SQL skill, and Power BI skill. Now, these are the things that they are looking for, right? If you scroll through this, you're not going to see a place where they said, I need someone with certificates from this place, or I need someone with masters in big data. It is not what is needed in the data ecosystem. It's a nice to have, Don't get me wrong, it's a nice to have, but it's not going to land you the job. Recruiters want someone that can be practical and do what they need, which is why they're asking for those two knowledge: Excel, Power BI, and SQL. And that are the things that we also walk you through. If you go through most of these jobs here, you're going to see the same thing. Nobody's asking you, I need certificates in this, I need certificates in that. It is just a secondary requirement, a nice to have, but it's not really what you will be needing. Please, what is the name of the site? It is read.co.uk. Read.co.uk. So I just dropped it in the chat box for you to also have access to. All right. So I don't know if there are questions from anyone before we round up for tonight, because we just hit the 10 p.m. West African time, and that should be our cue to start rounding up. Any question from anyone? I don't think there is any, guys. So please remember, okay, iPhone just raised hand. iPhone, I've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead. Hi, iPhone, are you there?
Yeah. Hey. Hello. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, loud and clear.
Yes. So I just have a quick one because I'm new into this too. So, but it's what I'm trying to study, and I'm doing actually in school right now. But like I said, I'm new into it. So, but I'm joining from the US. So I want to know, like, I'm amazed with everything that you guys just done right now. But I want to know, like, if I want to study it, you sure that all this stuff are gonna be what they're gonna like seriously teach us?
All
Like,
right.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, 100% iPhone. I know there's always this, I don't want to call it fear, but everyone always wants to be certain, right? Which is why we always add the success stories here, right? All these are all past people that have been able to make this exact switch, right? I've had instances where a past student said, oh, that people are reaching out to him to validate things. I said, of course, talk to them how your own experience went, speak to them how you experienced us, and let them have that same feel. Okay, so this is what we allow people to do so that you have a general understanding of how their own experience was. Okay, so we have it's 8% success rate. Are there people that didn't, pull through? There are. So that means out of 100 people that joined our program, 88 tends to move into landing their own jobs. And that's because definitely there are people that along the line, they will tell you, oh, I'm no more motivated. There are people that will tell you, oh, I'm tired. I don't even want to come to class. So I always tell everyone that registration is the easiest thing that you can do. Where the main work starts is you showing up every Saturday for classes. It's not everyone that can show up every Saturday. And what we try to do is that even if you miss classes, we have all those classes recorded and uploaded to your classroom that personally on your own, you can go through it on your own. Okay. And then if you have questions within the week, we also have drop-in sessions where everyone that had questions, maybe they're trying to practice and they were finding it challenging. You come back to class and ask questions, present your screen, and it will be answered. We also have the learning management platforms. We have the WhatsApp group where even if you're practicing on your own and you have challenge, you can easily screenshot what you are doing, send there, and someone is going to guide you. Okay, so these are things that we do to make sure that we're able to handhold everyone above where they started from. Okay, it's a beginner-friendly class where we walk everyone from ground zero upward. Okay, even if you know something before, when you join, we are going to treat everyone like we don't know anything and teach from ground zero upwards. I hope that answers your question, iPhone. Okay.
Thank you. It's Ugo. Thank you.
I didn't know how you said iPhone.
No, I said thank you. The name is Ugo. Sorry.
Okay, sorry about it. I'm just speaking respect to what I'm seeing. All right. All right. Thank you so much, Ugo. Okay, I don't know if there's still any other questions from any other person before we round up for tonight. Okay, so there are still other success stories. If you scroll down, you're going to see other stories of people that have made this transition. You can see a lot of people. Abigail from being a care worker to this, Biola from being an accountant to data analyst. A lot of people has made this switch across different countries. So the ball is in your court. Like I told everyone at the beginning of the classes, if you start now, you can easily be 40 days ahead of every other person that is thinking of starting in 2024. And it simply means by then that we're having the resolutioners, like we normally call them, you are already in the game. It's just like the same way crypto is making noise right now. Bitcoin has its all-time high. If you are entering right now, that the noise is already there, you are already late. Okay, you are already a minute late. But if you enter when everywhere is still chill, people are already quiet, by January, when the boom is going to be there, you'll now be part of the people that is going to be inclined instantly. What provision Eternity is making for learning time for people at Middle East? Okay, Uche. Now, that's why I said all our classes will have the morning class and the evening class. So the morning class is 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. to 2 p.m. rather. Okay, the evening class is from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So depending on your time zone, you choose the one that suits your own timing. So they are all West African times, but people in Europe, people in Africa, they tend to join the morning class. But people in Canada, US, tend to join the evening one because of time differences. So around then, it should be 9 a.m. their time or thereabouts. So these are things that we do to make sure that everyone has access to the classes. And each of those classes are always recorded. That if you had any reason to miss a class, it will be recorded and uploaded to your classroom, that you have access to watch every single thing that happened right there. And then when you practicalize it and have questions, you can immediately chat your facilitator or jump into a drop-in session and your questions will be answered. Trust me, as adults, it is very hard to bring in 20 people into the same room at the same time. It is very, very, even here at Analytics, as adults working together, it's hard to even find a particular time for everyone to meet. And that's why we have all these sessions recorded for you, so that even if you miss any session, you can easily go back to watching it. So this should be for Ugo. So for the past close to 5 years we've been in this business, we've helped close to 2,500 people move from our classroom into landing their first role. So if you go to LinkedIn and you just search the analytics and check people, you're going to see tons of people that have been with us. And that's because we always tell everyone, you are not training with us. You are working with us. So you can always speak from a place of experience that while you were consulting or working with analytics, you worked on this exact project. So these are ways that we help people. Okay. And these are some of the places that our participants work: NHS, UBA, NTN, Glo, Zenith Bank, Neso, and so many other places. NHS is the highest employer of labor here at Analytics, and that's always because they provide visa sponsorship. So they're always the people that take our people the most. And in the last couple of years, we've done a couple of CSR. You can see hackathons that we had in the past. And I can tell you that recently we are planning a hackathon that will come up by November 30th, okay? And the winner goes home with $2,000, right? And that's for people in the data ecosystem to come together and challenge themselves. So next one is coming in 2 weeks' time for people to come and challenge themselves to show what they are made of. Okay, so are you ready to gain your own technical skill? I always tell everyone that the best time to get into the tech ecosystem is 5 years ago. The next best time is today. And if you make the procrastination and say to you tomorrow, next tomorrow, it can never come. When I transitioned personally, I transitioned with 35,000 naira. When I say it, people don't believe it. I transitioned with 35,000. But right now, the same program is now as high as close to $1 million. And when you keep procrastinating, the economy is not going down. Most economies are going up, which means price most likely will always only go up. So I always advise everyone, whenever you meet this, try to secure your spot, and then you can have the possibility to defer for 1 month. Even if you don't want to start by December, you can defer for 1 month and start by January 4th. So on behalf of my founder, Adeza Suleiman, who's a technology expert that have been in this space for more than a decade, and also Efemina Ibro, who is also a data ecosystem engineer that has wide experience in different data career paths. I say a very big thank you to all of you for joining us tonight, and I can't wait to see each and every one of you come December 7th or January 4th. Remember, the discount is not for everyone. Once that exact spot is fully filled, the price reverses back to the full pricing, and it wouldn't make sense you coming back and see that the price has changed. So make sure that you secure your spot as fast as possible. So thank you so much to everyone on behalf of Amaka as well that taught us earlier in the program. I say a very big thank you to all of you. I can't wait to see you come December 7th. Thank you once more and good night. Bye for now, guys. Cheers.